Black Adam. Once a man, now a being twisted with power, blinded by revenge, and driven to darkness. Destiny brings him face to face with these champions of light, the Justice Society. And as you see in the movie, the Justice Society is not just ready for the world, they're ready to save it. But what are the origins of this dynamic team of heroes? Where do they come from? What makes them so damn special? And where are they headed next? Hi, I'm Aldous Hodge, also known as Hawkman in the latest exciting entry into the DC film universe, Black Adam. There's plenty of room at this table, so sit down, get comfy, and for the next few minutes, it's JSA all the way. Much like in the movie Black Adam, we begin our story in the past. Not 5,000 years ago, but in 1940, the year the Justice Society was born. With World War II plunging the planet into conflict and the nerves of the nation firmly on edge, those early adventures of the JSA offered readers a great escape and a ray of hope.
The JSA is the oldest superhero group in comic book history.
I've been DC for life since a little boy. Even in the early comics, Justice Society characters that had some complex stories, but big stories.
It really was kind of a groundbreaking concept at the time. They were almost like a little bit of a social club. At the beginning, they would get together, they would have a meeting and determine how we're going to stop some villain.
The JSA really set the standard for superhero teams to come. The fact that we'd be able to launch so many comics from what was a 1940s superhero group really tells you the power of teams.
Heads up!
In the late 1950s, DC reintroduced new versions of the Flash and Green Lantern and even Hawkman, all characters that were originally part of the JSA. It didn't take long for them to group them into the Justice League of America. I think the editor at the time had said the society felt a little too retro, but I think that DC Comics realized that there was still an interest in the older characters and the older versions of the characters. So we did the second generation of the JSA. Black Adam returns in several Justice Society stories in the early 2000s.
Black Adam mathematically looked at the JSA and said, "You're underpowered. You need me." And he becomes an active member.
I never thought I'd be happy to see you.
With the JSA, there was a lot of conflict. He was never a character with half measures.
These men should face due process.
Then let the gods make their judgment. What makes DC unique, and one of the reasons why they have endured for almost a century, the characters have edge. They have a little bit of darkness.
We live in an era where there are lots of superhero groups, but for purists like myself, we always look for the roots, and there's a certain legacy we feel for something that created an entire genre.
I was always a DC kid, and I became a DC man. Building out this new era of the DC universe is critically important to me.
The Justice Society has stood the test of time. They're resilient. That's something Hawkman knows all too well. Carter Hall, his alter ego, is not only an archaeologist and inventor, but the host of a reincarnated spirit, an ancient Egyptian prince named Khufu. This existence, one spanning the eons, has gifted Carter a wise soul and superior combat skills. Making his debut in Flash Comics #1, this combination of brains and brawn made Hawkman a hit, eventually propelling him to the top spot as the Justice Society's chairman, a position he held until the end of the original All-Star Comics run. Well, that's a gig he's got again in Black Adam. Carter Hall is the leader of the JSA. Better known as Hawkman. Life after life after life, he's always sort of found himself, kept a log and a history of who he was. He has the fully fortified moral ethics, but he is a savage.
Hawkman alone has an incredible following.
He's given the assignment, bring Black Adam to justice.
Heroes don't kill people.
Well, I do.
He was from Prince in Egypt, and Black Adam comes from Kahndaq. They're basically neighboring each other, so there actually is a history between them. They are on two opposite sides of the exact same goal. That's where they butt heads.
I can help you, but no more extrajudicial killings.
I don't need any help.
You know, the audience is put in the position to understand both sides, and we never tell them, like, who's right or who's wrong.
I told you stop killing people.
They look alive to me.
Because I saved them.
Well, that's why I waited until you were there.
In a complex world that we live in, you need both.
Activate infrared.
He's a little bit scientist and a little bit gladiator. He possesses this nth metal, which is an alien mineral which defies gravity. The Hawk Cruiser made out of that same technology.
So we're keeping the kind of shape of the original ones that you see in the comics, but then of course we do our own spin and take on it.
The Hawk Cruiser is stunning.
It's actually the size of about a 757, so it's quite big.
It is just huge, man.
Brace yourself.
I love comics, I love graphic novels, grew up on the creativity and the imagination of the whole superhero world. For me, this is kind of like one of those bucket list dream come true type of things.
Aldis is incredible. He brings a regal presence to the role.
Hawkman, he's a badass and he's funny as hell.
Caw.